In this video of the SPHR demonstration series, we're going to show the performance review function. Now for this one, we'll actually talk about the process and what the automation is in it and how it works with performance reviews. So the process is in the employee record list. We actually keep records of performance reviews. So we keep the last rating, the last review information, and the last review date, and we actually cross-reference the review itself. We also have some fields in there for next review as well, and the next review date and the period of time, whether it's 90 days or a year or annual review or what. And we use that to actually increment it when the last review goes in. So 30 days before that date, the system scans all the employees, and if it's 30 days before that date in the employee record for the next performance review, it generates an email which notifies the manager of this and actually provides a link to the performance review site page. In that page, the manager can download the review template. Now this is a document, and we use documents because we find it's actually that people change their performance reviews sometimes every year or at different times, the actual form itself. So we think it's better to actually use a review form. And at this point, then the automation of the system stops. The manager conducts the performance review with the employee. They may both fill it out. The manager may fill it out. There's a dozen different ways that companies choose to do this, and this is another area that they change. So we think that this, should go on manually. Let them conduct the review. Once the review is done and filled out and the rating's done, the manager goes back to that performance review portal page, uploads the completed review, which automatically generates an approval there. Typically it's to the manager's manager, and then routes it over to HR, and then it automatically, once it's approved, updates the employee record with the rating, the review, and then next the review date, and then the cycle starts all over. So that is what happens as far as the automation. And the automation points really are two areas. The reminder and notification to the manager and the downloading of the performance review. The review is conducted, and then the automation starts again when the manager uploads the review. An approval happens, and then it updates the employee record. So what we're really doing is automating the administrative process on each side of the actual review being done, but not the actual review. Okay, and that leaves the key reason for doing it this way. And after 8 years of providing HR solutions out here, we found that you can actually automate the reviews too much, or somebody can invest a whole bunch of money in making sure everything's automated perfectly across the whole thing, especially that middle part. And then a new VP of HR comes in and changes everything. You got to rewrite the whole system. And with this, you can change the review content in the review form. You can change how the review is conducted along the way, and so on. But on each side of the review, that automation is pretty consistent across many organizations. So we find it provides the flexibility needed for that. So let's take a look at the actual product. So as mentioned, everything starts with the employee record, and this is where we keep the review information. So I'm in Donna Martin's employee record here. If you want to take a look at what's in the rest of the employee record here, there is a video about that. But in the performance review, we have the current rating, we have the reviewer appraisal. You can also add other fields here as well. The date of last review, the next review date here, and you can turn on and off the reminder that actually kicks off the review process. And then down here, I can actually open up and look at Donna's last review. This is the document of the last review a year ago. So this is where everything happens. And so the system actually scans this next review date, and based on that next review date, it will actually generate a notification email as well. Okay, and this is what the email looks like that I get. It lets me know that one of my employees needs a performance review. It gives the review date and the employee, and then I can click and get right to the portal for performance reviews that is specifically for managers, so I can download the form. All right, and here is the performance reviews portal for managers. Again, they can see any performance reviews that for any of their employees, as well as submit new reviews and actually download a template. So I can go here, download the correct review template that I'm going to use with Donna. Donna is not a manager, she's just a professional, so we're going to go ahead and just download this. I can select it and click download and download it right here as well. So I've downloaded the template. In this case, there's two sections here. There's and the process is that the manager fills out section 1, and the employee then can fill out section 2, and then they both set goals and objectives. Okay, so the process between the manager and the employee is really kind of driven by the form, and it's done directly between them. So let's say that I've filled this out with Donna, and we're ready to submit this as a finished performance review. So I come into the performance reviews portals. By the way, there's instructions down here to managers on how to do this. And I go in, I can submit the performance review. It brings up the submission form. And by the way, the manager will actually see this tab and this tab only. I'm actually an admin, so I see a couple other tabs here. But I could go in and say, Donna Martin 2021 review. And I am the requester, and this is going for approval. I'll put in Donna Martin. And if the employee, here doesn't have this ID, you can also put in their name. Performance reviews normal, and I really don't have to put in a whole bunch of information here. And I can just attach this and submit it. So I'll just go in, attach the review. Hit OK. And then I can submit. Now, the submission actually comes in. HR can review it, and the manager actually fills in these basic fields here, what the rating was and so on. It takes a look at the date of next review, increments of a year, and then HR actually goes in and reviews it and says go ahead and upload to performance reviews in the employee record, and brings the document into the performance reviews library. And if I go into Donna's employee record now, which we saw earlier, we can see that we've updated the rating and the review. Here's the actual review here, and it has incremented the date. So that is the actual employee review process. Let's take a look at some of the kind of list reporting and views you can see. The other thing that's a little, I can't necessarily easily record here, but it also sends reminders to the manager if it goes on the date and past the date too. Now let's take a look at some reporting based on performance reviews. I'm in our employee records, and what we'll see is that we actually have some views here. So I can look across all performance reviews here, and this is across employees here. And we've got some color coding. So the top 20% is green, the bottom 30% is red, and you can set your own color codes. The other ones you can see is red here. This means it's past due. The review is past due here. Now we can also go in and do some grouping and review them. I could go in and review upcoming reviews, and it looks like there's only one, and in fact this one's the overdue one. There's also an overdue view. The other view I could do is by performance rating, so we can actually see them, and it's not necessarily the number rating, it's the rating here. We've got some that haven't had reviews done yet as well. They're new employees. But we can see that ones that exceed expectations, there's 4 there. There is 2 here that are in danger of termination, and also meets expectations and so on. So you can do a full analysis of your performance reviews, and that tends to be very helpful. Also on our dashboard, there also in the Power BI is also some review information. So that's all about performance reviews.